Good afternoon. Welcome to 60 Minutes Nigeria. This week's edition promises to be exciting, promises to be enlightening, promises to be educative, and of course, informative and entertaining as well. My name is Egosa Agbolao, welcoming you to this week's edition of the program. National issues will be discussed on today's show. I have with me very eminent personalities. Already in the studio, I have Pastor Barrister Jim Osagede already with us. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you very much, sir.
We also have in the studio already seated a former governorship candidate in the last governorship election in Edo State, Bishop Akalame. And soon we'll be introducing our third guest, but that will be after this break. It's a delight to be back after the commercial break. Just joining us is Special Assistant to Edo State Governor on Digital Media, Ikmonsa Osamede. Nice for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So we are set to discuss wonderful issues in this country. But on today's program, we'll be drawing the discussion closer to you. And we are looking at the governorship election that will be taking place this year. Don't forget, INEC has made public the governorship timetable. September is the date. And we also understand that June has been set aside for the primaries. So the stage is set for the governorship election known as Edo 2020. We'll also be having that of Ondo, which is for October. But we'll be discussing Edo for today. We'll just get started with Pastor Jim Osagede. Now, Edo 2020. A lot has been happening before today. Intrigues and political activities. What's your look, what's your perspective, what's your take on this governorship election that we're looking forward to in 2020?
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
First and foremost, is another season of great expectations.
Okay.
You know, for the past 3 years or 3.5 years or thereabout, those who feel that the government is not doing well,
Yes.
who feel that there's need for another candidate, for another person to be a governor, will have the opportunity of going to the polls. I see the forthcoming governorship election, you know, is going to be like a revolt at the ballot box. Opportunity for those who are not, you know, comfortable with the happenings in the state, you know, to air their views through the ballot paper.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
We'll
right.
come back to you for more. But let's get Bishop Akalame. Edo 2020, what's your take on it?
Thank you very much, my very good friend.
Yes.
Good afternoon, viewers. And I want to say that any information I'm going to canvass here today
Yeah.
are my personal opinion
Okay.
as a citizen of Edo State.
Okay.
And as a young man
Yes.
who wants a better Edo State.
Okay.
I want to quickly say that we are in a democracy. The government by the majority.
Okay.
The government of the people. And if you look at the definition of democracy, you discover that the people appear several.
Yeah.
That to show that democracy has to be a people focus what? A concept.
Yes.
But in recent time, in recent happenings in Edo State, what you have experienced today in Edo State has betrayed the prominent feature of democracy. It is quite clear that The minority will always have their say, but majority must surely have what? Their way. What has it become? Because since the history of democracy in Edo State, I have never experienced, and I have never witnessed, I have never seen what is happening now in Edo State. When we hear about abusive languages, we see explosives everywhere, just because for the quest of political power ahead of the 2020 Guba election. The most worrisome, the one that give me trouble, the one that make me sad as a citizen of this state, it is the fact that the governor and the APC-led government has abandoned governance completely for almost 2 years now. The people have been completely neglected. They're no longer the setup point of governance. The core business of governance have been neglected by the governor and the APC-led administration. And I know that as I am worried, that everybody in this state is also worried. Nothing is going on. As a person, I've told you, I travel around, I travel a lot. Take your tour to Kaduna State. Take a tour to Osun State. Take a tour to Oyo State. Take a tour to a small state, Ekiti State. When you come back to Edo State, you will weep. You will lament. Why has it become that people so much love power instead of delivering the dividend of democracy to the people? The people are no longer the issue. Now, we are here. If you want to vie for any position as a governor of the state, 2 hurdles you must pass through. What are the hurdles? The hurdles of the political leaders in your party. Have you been able to say yourself to them, your program, your ideas, convince them, romance them? Today, it is not only APC we have in the state. We have the APC, we have the PDP. Well, of course, we have the Zenny Labour Party in the state. We have a lot of parties who want to participate in this election. I want to send a very strong message to Edo people. Do you know I'm happy? Anywhere I go, once I tell people, my friends, I said, I am from Edo State. They respect me they respect me a lot. You know why? They say, an average Edo man, every Edo man is very intelligent. Every Edo man cannot be taken for a fool. We know what is going on. You see, in this era we are, nobody can take us for a fool. The time has come for every Edo people to look for a fresh ground. The time has come for us to look for a credible authority. See, I'm telling you, I know I speak the language, speaking the mind of every Edo people. Yes. You listen to us right now. You see, the era of PDP and APC is going in this state. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We want. Let me conclude. I have told you before that. Any idea, anything opinion. Okay, let me conclude. I'm the alpha man. I'm one of the moderators. You will round up. You are continuing.
No. I will come back to you to round up, but let me interject that we want your discussion not to be particular about anybody. We don't want you to attack the person of anybody, because if you are attacking the governor, we do not have the governor's spokesman to give us that fair hearing, that balancing.
No, you get it wrong.
No, I'm coming. I'm coming.
You see, I am not attacking.
I'm trying to give you the framework. Okay. So we don't want you to mention anybody. It may not be about the governor. It may be about another particular individual, but we don't want that. We want you to talk about generally. Okay. Like you have said when you mention other parties. Yeah. Then we don't want you to do anything that has to do like campaigning, because campaigns are not allowed now. The timetable by INEC gives time for campaigns, gives time for primaries, gives time for a lot of political activities. So
it's not paid for advert.
So that's why we can't accept any advert now. Okay. So you don't need to say this is the alternative. Okay. No, we don't allow that now. Okay. Just talk generally. Now, I'm going to allow you to round up, because I told you I'm going to allow you to do that. So you can continue.
Thank you very much, as moderator.
Yes.
I'm very sorry.
That's why I'm the moderator.
Yes, I'm very sorry if I've taken it to another dimension.
Okay.
But I'm just talking.
Yeah, you are very emotional. I can see that.
Disappointed with the happenings in Edo State.
Okay.
I am just sober. I'm weeping. You know, I don't know how to hold it to myself, because I am very exposed. I go outside there. By the time I come to my state, like most time I enter the state at night, the place is so dark. And you expect me not to talk? You know, I understand you. Yes. I am not attacking the governor. Okay. The governor there is my governor. Yes. As long as he's still here, it's my governor. Yes. But you cannot stop me not to say what I've seen that is not appealing to me.
Yeah, but that's not the topic.
Okay, go. What I want to say here, the 2020 is here.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is not a do or die affair. I am talking in accordance with what we have been saying around. There are people today, they discuss. I was in Abuja during this week. You see that the topic over there is Edo Guba.
Yeah.
And the way they are discussing it, if you are there, you weep what is happening. Why is this grave political power when people don't even have other people at heart? Because I believe that what I normally say when I converse in anywhere I go is that the reason why we have democracy is because we want to better the life of the people. If you are coming as a leader, you are coming in as a servant. You are coming in as a man who has a solution to the problems of the people. Not as a man who is coming because you feel that government has become an investment. When a man is coming and you feel that government has become a business venture, when you cannot put your money, maybe after 3 to 4 years, you can begin to recoup your investment. It's not like that.
Okay.
Once you are a governor,
I'm not going to use up the whole time.
once you are a governor,
Yes.
you are expected to do the needful. So that people have infrastructure, education, students get their bursary.
Yes.
We have the school working.
Okay.
Then the medical infrastructures are in place. The security. In fact, everything for the betterment of life in the state and what are in order. Then we cannot say, oh, we have a governor. So I believe that as we are all going to the field in this 2020 election, that everybody have to look around.
Okay.
When a candidate is coming, I'm talking to the electorate now.
Yeah.
I've spoken with the politician.
But why don't you take it step by step?
That's what I'm doing.
So I'm going to come back to you.
Okay.
So you continue. Let's also get the thoughts of Ikpomos Samede. Edo 2020. Everybody is talking about it. I told you there's also going to be election in Ondo State 2020 as well.
Yes.
But our focus for today is Edo 2020.
Yes, and we are currently in Edo as we speak.
Yes.
I want to say that my brother or my colleague here in the studio has shown a lot of outbursts this afternoon, but I would say most of the outbursts is actually misdirected. Maybe he actually said he has been in so many states, so maybe he's actually directing his outbursts to maybe one of all those governors, but not Edo State. Because
how do you mean? Okay.
When the scripture says when the righteous rules, the people rejoice. The people in Edo State as we speak are currently rejoicing with the current government of Godwin Obaseki. As it stands, you know, in the past we used to have governments and governors who do not actually put the interests of the people first. But with the coming of the current administration, everything has changed. Just to correct is some of his comments. So I want to say that the government of Edo State is actually poised to delivering even more dividends of democracy. His epithet is actually the wait and see. There's a reason for that. There's a reason the Edo people call him the wait and see governor. It is because every time they wake up, they see new things being done. Anytime they wake up, they see their streets.
But don't you think what Bishop is saying is that we can see
is actually misdirected to some other governors,
that we can see
State, because I speak in Edo State.
No, you continue.
Governance.
You continue.
Okay.
But don't you think the performance of Governor Godwin Obaseki was applauded by the people?
Yes.
In short, independent television and radio actually started that we can see, which the people accepted and started calling the governor we can see. Yes. But is this still the we can see governor?
Of course. The governor, as it's
up to now.
Of course. The governor, the good thing about the governor is that he has always been in the investment sector. He understands what it means to invest in the people and not the interest of some few people. And that is why he has placed the interest of the people first. The governor is also not distracted. Of course, we know this Ula Balu, the drama as regards Edo 2020, the elections, and even more so as the Independent National Electoral Commission has announced date for primaries. So a lot of people, there's eating of the polity because of desperation, like he said. But the governor has never abandoned governance for a single day. Just last month.
It's good to hear that.
Just last month, why a lot of states in the country, more than 20 states, are still arguing and debating on whether they should implement the minimum wage. The governor, people woke up in the morning and saw the minimum
there was
wage.
We can see again.
Yes, there was
minimum wage.
Minimum wage is reflected in their accounts.
That's wonderful.
So the governor has never abandoned governance in any way. If you've actually stayed more in Edo State and you visited some parts of the state,
don't you think you have talked enough of the governor now? I allowed you to make those comments because of what Bishop said. So let's go to the topic now.
Okay.
Edo 2020 governorship election.
Yes, the Edo 2020 election, the Edo people have another opportunity. It's going to be a watershed moment for in the history of Edo State, because the good people of Edo State would have an opportunity to re-elect a government that has put them first. In the past, we've never had a government that would, to his own undoing, so to speak, in other words, putting the interest of the people far and above his own personal interest. Because if, as it stands today, the old drama and the outcry of some few people, if the governor decides to say, oh, this Edo State Treasury is now opened for all and sundry, for those interested, selfish interested parties, you see that the whole cry of oh, the governor has not done this, has not done that, would all automatically die down. Because all of them, since they've been speaking, none of them has actually talked about governance, as it were. The statement they all like using is, oh, the governor is not carrying us along. The governor is not carrying us along. But the governor is carrying the more than 4 million people with the population of the state along in governance. He is constructing their roads. He's paying. We are all in Edo State. None of us is not an indigent in this studio as we speak. We all know what it was in the past, where in the guise of, oh, I want to construct roads, workers in the state would not receive their salaries. For good 8 years, it was like that. Until the governor came on board and he said, no, the people cannot be working and yet not receive their salaries. The people who have worked cannot, having worked for more than 30 years, would not receive their pension. And so immediately he started paying pensions. And of course, a lot of people have said it is even a case of wait and see to the pensioners, because you are retiring in, let's say, February. March, you've already started receiving your gratuity, you've already started receiving your pension, because the governor places the interest of the people first. But like he said, some political actors are actually desperate. The case of explosions, implosions, as it were, is because of some few people's desperation. Yeah. Only when some people indicated interest to vie for the office
of issue of explosion,
we started hearing
we have it as a topic. We have political tension,
yes,
and its impact, yes, on democracy.
So, the good people,
so why don't you save that for that second topic?
Okay, yes. To drive my point home is to let the good people of Edo State know that the governor has never been distracted as regards governance one day. If you go to Textile Road, you see the road being, the road is going on at the right pace. And if you go to Ekewan Road, the same thing. So all the various parts of the state, the 3 senatorial districts, they are all experiencing the dividends of
so
democracy.
To you,
so
Governor Obaseki has never been distracted.
Never.
Okay, yes, you have made your point, but like I said, I want us to concentrate on a broader perspective, not about narrowing it down. I know there's no way you can actually divorce maybe the incumbent governor from the discussion, because it has to do with the Edo 2020, but let's look at a broader perspective.
Yes.
It will be better, because our viewer there really want to know. Like Bishop said, it's not about APC. We have other parties. We have PDP. We have so many parties. But don't forget that INEC has also deregistered some political parties. So, Pastor Jim, Edo 2020, some political parties will not participate in this election.
Well, thank you very much. For a start,
okay,
it looks like we have digressed so much from the topic.
Yes, that's why I have to quickly interject.
Yeah, I can see two opposite sides. Bishop is anti, and my brother here is pro.
It's expected.
So I will speak as an arbiter,
okay,
without taking side.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about governance, you are talking about the impact of those who are ruling you upon the citizenry of the country.
Okay.
You know, those things that people talk about, you know, that the governor is making roads. I just want to make a little reference to what they say.
Okay.
I mean, what they said before I move on. Say the governor is doing roads. The governor is doing.
As well.
Just a minute. No, just a minute.
Just a minute.
You said, you know, a short while ago that immediately you retire, you are getting your pension. It's pension you are getting. Gratuity. There's a backlog of gratuity. What about those institutions that are comatose right now? There are some tertiary institutions in the state for many months. They have not been paid. There are several issues like that. There are some parts of this state, since the creation of this world, they have never seen, you know, a motorable road. You know, so when a government is providing, a government is providing a road, and you are applauding him, good. The government is doing this, you are applauding. What was he elected to do? Is that not the job he was elected to do? So all these things, they really don't make, sense to me.
Yeah.
The only way we can really assess, what is going on is by comparison. You have, so much resources. What are you doing? Right now in Edo State, what we are experiencing, in our polity is unprecedented. It's just like father, mother, and children locking doors against themselves, and they are fighting. Is it the neighbor that is coming to, to put respite to that? Well, that aside, now coming to the topic itself.
Yes.
I said earlier on in my introductory comment that, every 4 years, people are looking forward to the opportunity for them to make amends, especially as the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria gives you that opportunity, once in 4 years. And those who want to become governors, for instance, they also know that if they don't get it now, it's going to take another 4 years. So there's a scramble, there's a scramble for the opportunity that is available.
Yes.
So the electorate, I believe that the typical electorate in Nigeria, especially Edo State, I believe that they have learned their lessons. All the clamor, let's vote this person in, let's vote that person in. Now they have seen what they wanted for themselves. So I believe very strongly that this election, even though it's not the procedure and the activities surrounding the election is not going to be, diametrically different from what we have had in the past.
Okay.
I believe that there's going to be a lot of surprises.
Yes.
Why it's not going to be different is that it's still going to be very manual.
Okay.
It's like a man who has acres of land that is still using cutlass, whereas the tractors are there. You sit down comfortably in 1 or 2 hours, you are through with your acres. So until the president, assents to the bill that will make, our voting system to be electronic, there's not going to be any improvement in the electoral system. For instance, because ATM is electronic, you are pressing buttons, you are talking to machine. He is the IT
digital
okay. Now,
expert.
Since the introduction of ATM in Nigeria, even though it's been in the developed world many years before it came to Nigeria,
okay.
Have you ever seen anybody quarreling with ATM that the money paid to him or her was not complete? Some time ago, I was on the queue trying to withdraw money from ATM, and somebody got his own. I was scanned. I said, "Well, if the money is not correct, are you going to send it back?"
Yes.
The point I want to make is that
Yes.
if it is electronic,
Okay.
at the comfort of your room, I belong to an association, the NBA,
the NBA,
where in the last presidential election to elect the president of the NBA, everybody took his or her time from the comfort of your room. You were able to vote, and you were able to vote without being coerced. You voted for the person of your choice. But the way we have it in Nigeria, is very crude. Very soon, I believe what they are doing right now is they are just warming up. They are cleaning their guns for the election day. Because this one that you are putting a gun against your own brother who is the same political party with you, even though we are still waiting for the police. Because to a very large extent, most of these things that we say here, with due respect, they are speculative. It's only police that can say, oh, this person is in the same party with the person that was attacked.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is this. I want to advise everybody in Edo State. You have tested a government. If you are not satisfied with that government, you have another opportunity around the corner. You have to vote out the government. We want peace in Edo State. We are not looking forward to a situation where governor will be sleeping one eye open because somebody from his own party is going to be fighting against him. So if you cannot put your house in order, there are better alternatives. You have, like you mentioned, we have, I'm very reluctant, but these people,
Yeah.
these parties are there. You have PDP, you have SDP, you have Labour Party, all those ones are there. They also are going to fit candidates, apart from the ones that have been, deregistered. So you look at, the capacity of the individual candidates and not just the party per se.
Okay.
Then you decide on what to do.
Thank you. Now, Bishop Akalame, some parties were deregistered by the INEC, and that's before Edo 2020. Do you think it will have any impact on the election in Edo?
Yeah, it will. Just currently they are in court. By
Okay.
17th, we
Yeah.
will get judgment
Okay.
whether they will be reintegrated or they will not. Currently, we have 18 local governments, 18 political parties.
Yeah.
And out of these 18, of course, we still have level 12 in Edo State.
Okay.
So
With offices
Of
domiciled
course.
in Edo?
Yes, I believe there's no party that want to operate in this state that will not have office,
Okay.
or that even want to participate
Even
in this
if
election.
it's one shop.
That will not even sure. It's not sure. Any political party that want to contest an election must
Yeah.
have an office.
Okay.
That one is sure. it will not, what we are going to see is that we are going to have fewer candidates. The ballot paper that INEC used to print that normally look like
that used to be very long.
So this time around,
to be shorter.
It will be shorter. Then we have this time when people cannot really see those people that they want to go. There are times when you have a lot of candidates for an election, those who organize debate will not be able to accommodate those candidates in a debate competition.
Yes.
So you just pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to appear. Maybe if you still have up to like there are 20, and the remaining 15, you may not know whether you have one among the 18, 15 that can really have what Edo Ipo needs. But as a result, we miss that kind of a candidate. But now we're going to have few candidates in the election, so that those organizations, people like you who organize debate, you can really accommodate those candidates. Let them present. Let them serve the electorate with their plans. Let them serve the electorate with their programs. Let them serve the electorate with their what? With their agenda. Okay. Then the Edo people who are very intelligent cannot look at them. Can you look at their plans, their projects, and look at them, go, good, you are good to go, irrespective of your political party. That is the only way we can have development. That is the only way we can have growth in Edo State. Yes. I equally want to look at the way of INEC too. We are discussing 2020 election because we cannot discuss all these issues without looking at INEC too. That INEC in this election has to be neutral. Umpires, stay. Do not favor any party. That public confidence that has not been there. This time around, they have to prove to the Edo people that we are there to do our duty. They have to do it very well. You see, if we have made mistakes in the past, INEC have to start again with Edo election. Let them do their job very well. This commission do their job so that in future election, people begin to use Edo 2020 election as a reference point. Okay. Now, like I told you before, you were saying that the governor, the APC, they don't have somebody speaking for them here. You have a special assistant. You seem like when he was talking, when in his introductory.
No, but he's not here in that capacity.
No, you know
so he needed to react. No, he needed to react.
He reacted.
And he reacted to your comment. That was allowed.
He took my comment one after the other and responded.
But all the same, let's leave that.
Okay,
let's go to the topic.
Okay, good. Now, in all of this, we have covers. We cannot take away all this we have been discussing from the 2020 election. Because what you are seeing today playing out in Edo State, these are called pre-primary activities. And they are not headed to the people. Because that's not the way we used to see it before. Okay. You see, Edo State is a very peaceful. You see, when you have an election, like the Bayelsa or Rivers, you have people in the Edo State election, at times we will see people quarrel. Nothing will happen. We will just quarrel, we'll have a peaceful election, we'll go to our homes. But now we've not even done primary election. We begin to see explosive everywhere. I want to say, I have a message for the youth. Because I am a youth, I belong to that constituency. Because I believe that when the youth, because I believe that by now, majority of the youth have gotten the message. Because we are the future leaders of tomorrow. You see, we have to stay away for us not to be used as conductors perpetually for the rest of our lives in politics. Because these people who are drivers today, while they are conductors, they were already drivers, even at their age. What is stopping them not to be drivers at this their age? Okay. So I want to advise them, talk to them, because once the youth have decided to say, oh, this is what we want, no crisis, we want to have a peaceful election. My friend, I tell you, peaceful election we shall have in Edo State. Okay,
peaceful election we'll surely get. Yes. Let's get the thought of Ipohosa Samedi. Yes, we are still talking about the 2020 election. Okay.
Well, I want to say that there's a popular saying. It goes like this. They say, gratitude makes sense of your past. It gives hope for today, and it prepares for you a better future. What that actually means is that as you go forward, you have to make an introspection and look back at where you are coming from and see if there are things that are different from the way it is and the way it was before. And if you look at those states, even the blind man knows that things are different, that things are even better. Even the deaf man even knows as well that things are different in Edo State. You see, we have never had an administration like that of the current government, the government of Governor Godwin Obaseki, that's, like I said before, puts the interests of the people first. And even the youth population that he's talking about. It is the first time that we are seeing a government that has given hope to the youth population. A lot of the people in his cabinet are actually youths. And as we speak, there's even the Edo Sports Festival that is ongoing. where the governor has been able to bring people together and say, develop your talent. And after which we are going to have the National Sports Festival after good 19 years. And of course, we have the renovation, the refurbishment of the Samuel Gbemeda Stadium. Just some days ago, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, was in Edo State, and he applauded the government. He said, now at least the youths in Edo State now have a means of engaging themselves. So what that means is that we have a government that puts all and sundry, irrespective of the generation, the age group.
So you think that will have an effect on the election? The
youth are now better engaged. In the past, we used to have toggery. Youth only have rich touts to look up to, rich thugs to look up to. But now it's different. The governor is engaging the youth. If you go to Edo Innovation Hub off Wire Road, you will see youths who are engaging in science, data science, artificial intelligence, and what have you. If you go down to Saple Road, you have the Edo Production Center, where a lot of youths are being engaged. You drive down to Technical School Road that is not far from us here, you will see the magnificent structure that the government has put in place, all in a bid to engage the youths and make them not to become tools in the hands of some desperate politicians. Indeed, we've never had it better. The youth population has never had it better in the states. If you go to...
okay, now let me interject. Okay. Now. Let me interject. Okay. I'm not surprised. You are a beneficiary. Yeah, you are the youngest SSA, from what I've heard. The youngest special assistant to the governor. Yeah, that's a wonderful achievement on the part of the governor to have done that. And so I'm not surprised that you're talking this way.
But talking about the general population of the youths in Edo State, they are also having it better. Okay. In the past, we used to only have rich thugs to look at.
No, you've said that before.
You only have youths. The only thing that youths were good at then, people can you beat up in the marketplace? How many women can you cow into oppression?
Yes.
To engage in multiple taxation. But when the governor came, first and foremost, he proscribed those illegal revenue collectors and even CDAs, where that used to scare investors away from the states. He abolished that, and he has put in place a better system, all in the bid to give the youth a better system.
Now, I want you to comment on this before we get a thought of Pastor Jim. Now, Edo 2020. Well, we are going to have fewer political parties because INEC has deregistered some parties. Now, do you think that will have an impact in this election?
Yes. You see, the INEC has its reasons. You can't have a plethora of political parties that are redundant. Okay. Because the more political parties you have, the more expenses for INEC. And most often than not, I think we ought to get to a point where these political parties there will be a law that will state that at least for you to be a political party, you must have won some elections. So in the past, you could start from the ward. There's the ward elections. All the political parties that are scrambling to run for governorship, to run for presidential election, they are not aware that touching the lives of the people actually begins from the grassroots, begins from the ward, then to the local government, and then the state.
Yeah, okay.
In other climes, that is how they do theirs. Okay. If you are going to be a political party, you must have a base. You must have a base that at least you started from. That is why in the United States, you have some red states, which is for the Republicans, and you have some states that are called the blue states, and then you have swing states. In other words, you have some states that cannot ever think of venturing into a red state or winning an election in a red state because their base, that is not their base. Okay. They always start with their base. So even in the United Kingdom, there are counties where you have the conservatives or the liberal political parties. Yeah. So that is how it should be in a sane climb, not where you have more than 60, 90 political parties all trying to say, oh, we want to vie for a presidential election, we want to vie for the governorship. Bettering the lot of the people actually starts from the grassroots, starts from the local government. So I think INEC has actually done the nation some good, because whenever is an election year, an election cycle like the one for last year, the general election, you see the billions that was budgeted just to carry out an election. So I think they've actually done the best that they can do for the country.
Thank you. We'll come back to you. You've spoken a lot. And let's get the thought of Pastor Jim. Now, I wanted you to really comment on the impact of these political parties being deregistered? Maybe you want to comment on it now.
I will. Just like I did the other time.
Yes.
I said I will speak here as an arbiter because I see a divide between, you see, what I don't like, and I believe that it's a natural thing. Nobody should be a praise singer, even when you see the need not to praise. Now, when you are assessing the government, you are looking at the manifesto of that government.
Yes.
What did the man say he would do when he gets to the office?
Yes.
200,000 jobs. What did the man say he would do when he gets to the office? A college of education will become, a university. What did the man say he would do to the college of education at excuse me, I did not interrupt you.
No, let him finish.
No.
Let him finish.
Yes. I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yes.
All these things, those are the indices you use to, there are some people, once you are a beneficiary of a government, the worst government in this world had loyalists. Even Hitler had people who were singing his praises. So when you assess a government, look at the promises, look at the manifesto, what has this person done? It's not to say that he has not done anything good. There's no doubt about that. The person we are talking about must have done something good, but put it on a scale. As we say in our profession, put it on the scale and see the side is going to tilt to. You understand? If you leave your job today, you retire, you start getting your pension. What about the gratuity? You are going to write it. Excuse me. You are going to write
as fast as possible.
No, I'm not.
You have to speak the truth because
but just hold on.
You have thousands of people.
No, don't worry.
If I ask you now,
if I ask you, Pastor Jim, I want you to continue. I don't want a situation of maybe.
Have you ever seen those people who retired complaining that they've not gotten their
gratuity? There's a moderator here. There's a moderator here.
Yeah, please go on.
In a discussion like this, if you observe me, I don't interject when others are speaking.
So, Pastor Jim, make
and if I don't get the opportunity for the moderator, I'll keep quiet.
Please make your point.
So the point I'm making is, don't make a blanket assessment because there are young folks. There are people in the primary school, in the secondary school who are probably listening to this program, and they will not be able to understand what it takes to do an objective assessment of a government. These are the things that we are talking about, right from the grassroots up to the topmost. So I will digress from that.
So
and go.
The effect on political parties now being deregistered.
No, there's no, for me, the effect
because Bishop mentioned something that even the list will be reduced. So we understand that before now, the voters have problem identifying political parties of their choice. Don't you think that problem will be solved now that we have fewer parties?
Well, no, you see, all those parties have been deregistered. Yes. They were just there to fulfill righteousness. There's some of them that we never saw campaigning. There are some of these groups that were registered as political parties. They were just there, and when it's time, very close to the election, they want to align with the prominent parties, as a way of getting some pecuniary benefits. They were really not ready for parties. We know the political parties that are ready for election. So when you get to the polling station, it's very easy for you to identify your political party. You understand what I'm saying? The effect of the registration is going to be very minimal because those parties that have been deregistered, they did not make any meaningful impact. It's just like somebody just walking past your street, without doing anything. You may not even observe that somebody has just passed. So I don't think, except in the area of finance, it could be cheaper. It's cheaper to print a shorter paper than the rest, where you look at color separations and the rest of them, and then the bulk, the weight, in terms of logistics. But the transaction itself at the police station, when it comes to voting, when it comes to outcome, when it comes to whether those who campaign, we are listening to whether the effect of their campaign will be reflected, the number of votes they will get is going to be very minimal. Now this one will teach people a lesson. All those people who have been clamoring, they are wanting them to go and register political parties. You know that if you don't do well, you are gone. So you are lying. Even all those states that countries we are talking about, America, UK, Australia, and some other countries, they did not start with two political parties. In genetics, there's a law that is called the law of independent assessment. That law says that the genes that are responsible for the formation of different organs of the body must look for each other. 23 pairs of genes in the human body. For instance, the gene that will combine with another one to form your eyes wherever it is, when the formation is going, it will go and look for that gene and combine.
Yes.
It's a law of independent assortment. Okay. So as time goes on, we are likely to end up with no more than 5 or 6 political parties.
Okay.
I think it's healthy for the system.
So will it have impact on Edo 2020?
Of course, the impact is going to have is that, in rallies, you probably are going to have more people coming up.
Okay.
In voting, there's not going to be a big difference, because those who are still sympathetic to your party are the people who are going to vote for you. Okay. Because even those parties that were deregistered, if you look at results during the last election, some they got 1, some got 2. That means only 2 people in the whole world came to vote for you. Okay. So the others must have voted for the other political parties. But there's going to be a paradigm shift. Okay. I believe very strongly that the next election is going to be very exciting.
Yes.
Because, like I said earlier on, it's going to be such that it's going to be such that PDP and APC, they are going to slug it out. And I believe that, like I said before, there's going to be a revolt at the ballot box. People are going to do things that they never thought of before. I will stop there.
Okay. We'll come back to Pastor Jim and my other guests. But we have a breaking news. The Supreme Court today sacked the governor-elect of Bayelsa State, David Leon, and his deputy, Bio Barakuma Degi Eremioyo. The Apex Court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-man panel of justices led by Justice Mary Odley, held that Degi Eremioyo presented a forged certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Justice Ejembi Eko, who delivered the lead judgment, reinstated the November 12, 2019 judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja that disqualified Degi Eremioyo from participating in the governorship poll. The Apex Court held that since Degi Eremioyo shared a joint ticket with the governor-elect, his disqualification invalidated their nomination by the All Progressive Congress, the APC. It ordered INEC to immediately withdraw the certificate of return that was issued to them and issue a fresh one to the party that secured the second highest number of votes and got the required constitutional spread. The judgment followed an appeal that was filed by the People's Democratic Party. Its governorship and deputy governorship candidates in Bayelsa State, Diol Jire and Lawrence Euro Jakbo. That's the breaking news. We'll bring you updates of these and more in our main news bulletin by 7:30 p.m. We'll continue with 60 Minutes Nigeria. We are actually talking about the 2020 governorship election, and my guests have actually expressed their opinions. But there is another very disturbing trend which we'll be discussing on today's show. And the thing is political tension and its impact on democracy. Democracy actually is one that allows the people to have their say, one that allows the people to participate. But there's a lot of political tension, not only in Edo State. We've seen that in Nigeria, whenever there's election, before elections, there seems to be a lot of political activity, some marked by violence. But in Edo and other states, how can these be avoided? Bishop Akalame.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You see, tension is not known in democracy because it is the government by the people and for the people. It is the people that say who will lead them. It is the people that will go to the field and decide with their PVC who will be their governor, who will be their senator, who will be the member representing them in the House of Assembly or in the federal level. But we have seen over the years that these people, what they do is that they want to force their way on the people. You cannot force a way on the people. the people have the right to choose who become their leaders. So the tension you see everywhere, like take for instance what you are seeing in those states today, the explosive you are seeing everywhere, as if we are fighting war, is as a result of people who are desperate. We call them political desperados. They want to head to power. They don't want to leave power.
Okay.
Now, the issue is that if you want, like I said when I started, I said if you want to be a governor, 2 things you must do to down tension. What are those 2 things? Market yourself to the political leaders in your party first. If they like your face,
okay,
they like your program, they nominate you. Then the last one is being able to convince the electorate to vote for you. Then if you can do that, why the tension?
Thank you, Bishop Akalame. A quick one, on this political tension, because we have an issue we must discuss now.
Yes, I want to say there is an history to the political tension.
Okay.
As its way. Far back in 2014, we had explosions like this, and it was as a result. And one man actually
no
came,
name mentioning.
Yes, one man came on here and actually pointed fingers to a particular man who is now the national chairman, saying that he was responsible for that explosion. Now, in 2020, we are seeing a recurrence of that same explosion.
But it's left for the police. It's left for the police to investigate and give us a concrete statement on that.
A very, very peaceful state. The governor has done a lot in terms of the security architecture. Last year or so, he donated more than 100 vehicles to the police. So
okay,
the governor is.
Yeah, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. But we have a breaking news now, which I've read, and we need to quickly discuss it. The Supreme Court today sacked the governor-elect of Bayelsa State, David Leon, and his deputy. Pastor Jim, what's your take on this? This development in Bayelsa State.
In fact, I am so excited that you are giving us opportunity to discuss this issue. As a lawyer, I'm very happy to hear that news.
Okay.
No, happy not in the sense that somebody is being removed. Happy in the sense that we still have some incorruptible judges. We have people who can do the right thing. The Supreme Court has spoken. It beats my imagination that somebody who forged a certificate, in fact, there's a case like that in Edo State.
But let's finish Bayelsa.
I'm making reference. I'm not going to mention it. I'm sure the Supreme Court right now has set a precedent for that case. You are not qualified, and you give the pressure that you are. That is impersonation. I believe that the police should take it up from there. No, not just what the Supreme Court has said. That person should be arrested and prosecuted. We now have, the opportunity to believe that hope is not lost in the judiciary. Okay. We still have men and women of caliber, people who have devoted their lives, to doing justice, and they know that, at one time or the other, people look up to them as the final arbiter.
What's the impact of this judgment, of this Supreme Court judgment now? Because it is believed that Supreme Court is the final arbiter.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it's only on rare occasions that you ask the Supreme Court to revert itself. It has happened in the past, but not when a situation like this is so clear. You cannot go back now and tell the Supreme Court not to call you a criminal anymore because you're already a criminal by forgery. You forged a document. The impact is that the electorate and party leaders, because I remember the intrigues that led to that led to the selection of that man as the deputy gubernatorial candidate.
Yes.
A lot of people were interested, but because of some vested interest, they put him above others. Now this one will teach them a lesson that these things should be done on merit. Otherwise, you are going to expose yourself to several embarrassments like this. And that is good news for the opposition party. It's good news for them because now it's automatic. They are not, I don't know where, we are not seeing the details. I have not read the details of the judgment, which we are all very anxious to see. If the Supreme Court says that it is automatic for the second runner-up, that's what you read. That's what you read.
That's what Supreme Court said. INEC should give certificate of return to the next.
Yeah, to the first runner-up. And in fact, there's another case. I want to bless God for Edo State.
Yes.
All these things that we are talking about, there is a similar case right now in the court that is talking about giving certificate of return to the first runner-up. We shall talk about that later. So this one will teach the people a big lesson.
Okay.
Let the right thing be done. And I want to bless God for the candidates of PDP who have kept their cool and they pursue the case up to the Supreme Court. Now they have got justice.
Okay.
So they too should also sit up and also check themselves. All these people who are in power, now if you know you forged certificate, you better leave there now because Supreme Court is not going to take it from you.
Bishop Wakalame, quick one, because this has taken over our discussion.
I'm very happy.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Do you know why I say so? Any man that have promises for the electorate come with fake results.
Yes.
It shows that from promises in first instance, they are fake. A man who can forge results to contest an election, it shows that all the promises they made during the campaign, they are fake. That's why they don't do anything. They don't talk from their heart. You know, it's a very big lesson to every political aspirant in any position who want to contest an election. That even when you want to contest an election, you have a fake result you want to present to the people. There are people who are there that what? The law will catch up with you. I'm very happy at times, most times. The judiciary, when they act like this, we celebrate them. I want them to be celebrated at all times. By the time they'll come up with a judgment, people see people shout, they have not done well, they have been manipulated. This one now, I give them kudos. In this one, I give them top. You see, this is a good thing that I've ever scared this year. Because how have you seen a running mate to a governor election come with a fake result? You are contesting an election. You begin to tell people, I'm going to do road for you. Fake. I'm going to do this one for you. Fake. Because the result you are presenting is also what? It's also fake.
Thank you. Let's get the thought of Bonsa Samedi. Yes, this one has come up now. It's breaking news.
Yes.
So, what's your take on this judgment by the Supreme Court?
For me, I want to say that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. We should, since it's the Supreme Court, it means their decision is final. We should disabuse ourselves of the mindset that whenever it's, let's say, a particular party that wins, oh, democracy is in play. But when the judgment is probably not in their favor, then they start to frown. Because just some months ago, it was that of the Imo, the Imo state, where they say a fourth runner-up was actually announced as the winner. Then we started hearing this outcry that, oh, it can't be, it can't be, it can't be, it can't be. But right now we are all happy.
It was a different case.
Oh, the election has been overturned, and now maybe another person will be announced as the winner. What I'm just saying is, we should learn to be. We should not always be antagonistic whenever it comes to politics. We should not say, oh, it is not my party that wins, so I will not be glad. If it's the other party that wins, oh, I will now be glad or something.
So what you're saying that Nigerians must accept the verdict of the Supreme Court?
We should always accept the verdict of
the Supreme Court.
Yes, though I do not know what the next line of action would be for the All Progressive Congress, but that of the Imo State, we have that the PDP has actually been crying that they want to go to, they need the court to revert itself, to review its judgment. What I'm just trying to say is that we should all not be antagonistic when it comes to politics. For me, I have always tried to be as conscientious as possible. You've invited me for programs such as the national, where we discuss national issues. And in those programs, I actually speak as I ought to speak, and that is what I do in all.
Thank you very much, Bonsa. Thank you.
It is obvious that the governor has done well. So
thank you. Thank you. We have another breaking news. Don't forget, independent television has a knack for bringing you breaking news just the way it happens, within and outside the shores of this country. We have this from outside the shores of Nigeria. British Finance Minister Sajid Javid has resigned. Mr. Javid rejected an order to fire his team of aides, saying no self-respecting minister could accept such condition. He has been replaced by Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Rishi Sunak. That's the breaking news that we have for you at this time. Okay. So, 60 Minutes Nigeria has been very interesting. You agree with me? I must say that my guest, because of time, the issue of Bayelsa came in, and we've quickly commented on that. And Ikpawonsa Samedi has said, what happened in Imo? There was protest. But now it has happened in Bayelsa. There shouldn't be protest. I think that's what he's saying. Nigerians must respect the verdict of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court must be respected in this country. Bishop Akaleme, I want to thank you for your time and for your comments. Ikpawonsa, Osamede, thank you very much for your comments,
It's always a pleasure,
for your
sir.
time. I know that you are very happy with your governor. And
Edo people, all of Edo State
okay,
are actually
thank
happy
you,
with it.
thank you. Pastor Barrister Jim Osagede has made very wonderful contribution to this program, and as a very respected legal practitioner in Edo State, he has also said that now the masses have a reason to rejoice because the court is always there to address anything that they think should be any redress or whatever. I think that's the way the lawyers put it.
Yeah, justice.
Justice.
Yeah.
So the Supreme Court has served justice. Thank you very much, Pastor Jim Osagede.
Thank you very much.
My viewer out there, thanks for being with us on today's program, today's edition of 60 Minutes Nigeria. By the grace of God, next week, we'll be here to look at other issues. My name is Egosa Agbolao, signing off. Bye-bye.